If you are a mom running a business or desire to be a mom one day running a business, I want you to know that there is a different way you need to build things. That most business advice that's out there is for someone who has uninterrupted time, endless amounts of energy, can do their workout at 5 a.m. whenever they want, and let's be honest, is not the reality of your life. And you're trying to fit in advice from people not actually living your life and the values that you actually desire. And I've seen this happen so much of moms feel this push-pull within themselves of wanting the business to grow, but also desiring a certain level of presence and time with their family. And it's real, and that pull is because it's your intelligence trying to tell you there is a way to make both of this work, but we have to make this system work for us. And this is exactly where I was 3 years ago. Before I was pregnant with my daughter, I felt like I didn't have an exact model of what I wanted in my motherhood journey. I'd seen many ways of doing it, of taking so much time and working minimal hours. I've also seen the journey of women losing themselves when becoming parents. And I've also seen women just instantly snap back into work and just be full-time in work and just get childcare. And I knew there was a different way of how I wanted my motherhood journey to go. And this is the biggest thing I want you to know. You get to be honest about what you want. And I always say that with every client I work with. What do you want this journey to be like? Do you want time off? Do you want minimal hours? Do you want maximum impact? Do you want childcare? What is that? And I think it's so important to remember that it's not about following someone's way. It's about knowing what's important to you and knowing what do you actually value, and then how do we build a business ecosystem around the journey you wanted. You know, I'd seen some people who just really put their business totally on a back burner and just wanted cash flow in and didn't really care to show up. I saw some people within 4 weeks back on all their calls and in 24/7. And that is when I decided no one's doing it wrong. No one's doing it right. You just have to listen to what you want. And then we build an ecosystem around that. And I really want you to look at your business right now. And are your offers and your marketing and your sales, is it set up to give you the type of motherhood journey you really desire? Or is it actually setting you up to be in conflict? And I think one of the most important things we could possibly give a child is a mother who is grounded in herself, a mom who's behind herself, a mom who knows herself, and a mom who lives with no regret and no guilt. And I can proudly say I've never experienced mom guilt in my entire life. And it's because I've been really intentional every step of my motherhood journey. I've been very intentional of what I wanted pregnancy to be like, and very intentional about what I wanted my journey as a mom and working mom and someone who provides a lot financially. And I was very intentional for a reason. It doesn't mean everything went my way, because if you know you're a mom, it never does. But it does mean that you're behind what it is that you're choosing. And I want to walk you through how we design our businesses for actually being the type of mom that you want, which requires a lot of unpredictability, not being able to always plan, and not being able to always know everything's going to be able to work out the way that you plan to with the energy that you plan to, right? I mean, you're moms, you're literally living and creating and life and showing up for your kids or kids. It's a different journey. And I will tell you, my background actually, funny enough, is in child development, and I studied and worked with kids for over 10 years. It was the greatest journey, and that is when I really realized, wow, it's the moms. Moms have this secret superpower where they have the ability to just listen so deeply to themselves and be able to look at what the family needs, what the life needs, and what business needs. And that is when I really realized the real power is getting the mom in alignment with herself, which also means doing that with your business. And I'm very grateful that I had this modeling. My mom has had her business for over 50 years, and she really showed me what it is like to be raised by a mom who loves her work, loves what she does, is an incredible wife, incredible person. And at the end of the day, it wasn't about the amount of time she spent with us. It was the level of presence that she did have with us. And that always stuck with me. And I live by that. I love what I do. I love my business. And I truly believe me working also allows me to be my best with my daughter, because I'm not just trying to get my fulfillment just from being a mom. My fulfillment is being me and doing what I'm here to do in every area of my life. And even as I've navigated a challenging life season with my daughter and her health, I still love that I have a business that gives me passion because I am not anything in my life. I am me. And I get to be a choice of what that is. And it was really after my dad had passed away when I really started to look at what I valued. And I really think sometimes it takes hard moments for you to get honest about what you really value. And it was actually, I was not pregnant at the time. And that was right after my dad passed. I said, I value family. I want to be a mom. What am I waiting for? Having the perfect business, having everything lined up, having all the money set up. No, I trust myself enough to actually create the model and the business that I want. And that's exactly what I did. And I think the first thing is becoming a mom and creating a business. And if you're already a mom, wherever you are in your journey, is you have to really break free of any paradigm of how you think you should do things. Whether you think working a lot or not working or having a big social life, like you get to decide your destiny. You get to decide your life. And I truly believe that kids, and this is also backed up by tons of neuroscience, that the state of your regulation and your nervous system as a mom is far more impactful than how much time you're spending with your kids. If your kids are getting the most regulated you, that is so much more powerful. And it's also thinking about not just breathing exercises and meditation that creates regulation, but fulfillment and purpose and passion and aliveness. When I think of contributing in my business, when I'm working with these different women and helping them grow and scale their businesses, and I'm filming curriculum for my programs and making it better and better and better and better, I come downstairs. And even my mom said this when she was watching my daughter. She goes, wow, you have so much life. You have so much energy you bring to her, because I'm not letting all my energy come from just her or my husband or my family. My aliveness is that I'm living my fulfillment and my purpose in every area of my life. And that's exactly how I design my business. And so I want you to be able to do the same. I want you to be able to get really clear on what it is that you really want your motherhood, your business journey to look like. And let's be honest, it's going to change as your kids are in different ages. They need different things from you, right? When they're little, it's a lot of physical demanding. When they're older, they need your emotion and need you there in really pivotal moments. I started as a parenting coach, by the way, so I know lots about everything in all the phases. And I think it's really important that at the end of the day, you're behind what you're doing. So one way that we set up your business for motherhood is you decide, what do you want your motherhood and business journey to look like? And I don't think it has to be, this is what it is. So for me, I was very clear. I wanted flexibility above all else. And my working hours have shifted as my daughter changes ages, right? When she was really little, I had very little help and I just worked when I could and I loved it. And I set my business up for true scalability, guys. Cannot recommend it enough. And predictability and not launching, cannot recommend it enough as a mom. And it really changed everything for me. And so I think number one, you have to get clear on what do you want. Number two, you have to make sure that your business is built for flexibility. You have to, as a parent. You have no predictability if your child's sick one night, if something doesn't go to plan. And this is why I truly think moms not relying on launches is really important, because let's all be honest, right? You want to have the energy, you want to have the email set, you want to have all the marketing set. And if you have an unexpected week, which let me tell you, my personal life has been that. My personal life, I was handed a really unexpected life situation earlier this year with my daughter. If I didn't have a business built for flexibility, let's say, what is flexibility? Flexibility is the ability to not have to show up on calls all day or most days at certain timetables. What I mean by flexibility is I can work when I want to. I can do things when I want to. If I want a heavier work week, I can have one. If I want a lighter work week, I can have one. If I want less calls, I can have less calls. I, on average, have about 3 calls on my calendar a week right now. And I have 1 week a month where I have no calls on purpose. I design my work week around what I want and my month around what's actually going to work for me. and that the revenue and new clients coming in does not change. That is the key. Flexibility without the income dipping and revenue changing. And I think that this is so important as a parent, because if your kids need something, if they're sick, or just if you want to go on vacation, I think it's so nice to just be in full dominion over it. You know, last summer, I decided to have Fridays off with my daughter. I never had childcare on Fridays, and I decided to have Fridays off. My childcare has been all over, by the way, in case you ever wanted to know what it's like. And after we were in the middle of summer, and I said, why is this just for summer? I'm a freaking business owner. I can work when I want to. And I have literally never had childcare on Fridays. And I said, and it's funny, her name is Summer. And I said, I'm calling it Summer Fridays because I want to just have a day with her where we do things and all of it. And I think it's so important, again, to make your business work for you. Number 2 is making sure that you have offers built in a way, again, where they're not just dependent on you showing up on calls all the time. If your only offer requires you on calls all the time, you are only getting paid if you are showing up on calls. That is not the model we want as mothers. We want a model built for flexibility. One of my favorite things about the way that I run my programs is clients get so much support, and there is so much involved. I love giving a lot of support. I love a high quality client experience, hence the 98% client retention rate is because of it. But I love that it's on my timetable. What does that mean? That means that I can answer questions when it works for me. That means that I can give them the support that they actually need or redo different things when it works for me. And I don't know about you, but I don't work 9 to 5. I don't work 9 to 4, right? You're a freaking mom. Do you know how much moves in your life? So much, you know? And I personally value moving my work schedule around when I want to. I know when my daughter was really little, I was a night owl. I loved working from like 8 to 10. It was just like a thing. Like I loved it. Now you will only see me in bed at that time, you know? And I think it's so important that we get to move our schedules around in a way that works for our life, and you get to design it, but you have to make sure you have offers built where clients are getting incredible results. But again, it's built for flexibility on your timetable. The other thing that I think is so important is really making sure and thinking about, you know, especially as you scale a business and grow a business. And this is something I was very intentional about is how are you building it for the long haul? You know, one of the things I got really honest with myself about, and this was really challenging for me, and I felt a real pull, is I really wanted to go into, you know, speaking and traveling, and I have so much to share, and my background is just so different, being raised by 2 coaches and literally being in this world since I was a child. Like I am here because of the family I was raised in. Honestly, it showed me a world of what's possible, and it's like bringing tears to my eyes, but just being raised by parents who are doing what they love really makes a difference for kids. And I really wanted to go into speaking, and I really wanted to go into like, go to this event and go to this and do it. And I just got really honest. What does the scalable life look like for me right now in this time? And for me, I'm all for having impact. I'm all for living your purpose. I'm all for making incredible amounts of money. But I also really know that I'm unwilling to live a life when I really thought about, and this is what I think not enough people think about, is what does that lifestyle look like, right? If you want to have a big membership and you're running ads and team and all of that, what are you profiting, right? And this is when I really started to look at what is a speaker lifestyle. And, you know, it's a lot of travel and up early and going somewhere. And I was like, it's just not what I value right now. It's not worth it. I would much rather, which is what I do now, run an incredible business that makes an insane amount of money. And I'm on 2 to 3 calls a week, anywhere in the world that I want, any room in the house that I want, whether that's literally anywhere. And my client delivery doesn't go down, and all of it is set. And I can do it in a few hours a week on calls. And I'm running it on other times in the week, but it's on my timetable. I can hear my daughter laughing downstairs with my mom right now. I can hear my daughter, you know, in the other room. And I love that. That's what I value. And it doesn't mean I don't travel. I mean, I've done lots of things, but I don't want a lifestyle of it. And I think it's really important to make sure that is what you're building now, actually the scalable lifestyle you want for the next 3 to 5 years. And you can always choose a different phase, but make sure for the next 3 to 5 years, is it what you want? And there's the thing that I think is so important. And I will be real with you guys. It broke my heart a little bit when I was in business and a new mom. And I just felt so alone. I felt like I didn't fit into anybody doing motherhood and business the way I wanted to. There were so many sides of it and so many models. And not that I think any of them bad. I just didn't fit into any of that. And it's when I really realized as a mom, we need to be in other environments and communities with other moms and learn from what they're doing and see what they're doing and hear and be supported, because I felt so alone in it. But also to know that you get to pave your own motherhood path. And no one's meant to do it like you. No one's meant to do it the same way. It's meant to be designed in a way that works for you and works for your life and aligned with your truth. And I just want you to know that that's what kids need more than anything. My life was a model in one of my child development classes in college of what a healthy family dynamic actually can do for a child. Because so many people in my class, every single person, not one person, their childhood could be a model for what is actually possible for kids. And that is why I do what I do. Because I truly believe that if moms and women make businesses that they love, that they're passionate about, that they're powerful in, and make incredible money, you can provide for your family, you have so much freedom that it changes the way kids are going to be raised forever. And I want you to know this is possible on all fronts. And it starts with really building a model built for you and for your phase and where you are, and let the phases change. And that is why I do the work that I do. So you're welcome to book a call with me, and I'd love to talk to you about it, because this is different. We are in a new era of what motherhood and business gets to be. And I would love to look at your business and tell you exactly what I recommend based off what you say you want, or help you get clear on what you want, because your kid's future depends on it. Your future depends on it. And that is why this work is so powerful.